Welcome to Frequencies and Friends, interesting conversations with interesting people. I'm your host, Elena. Hello, Marianne.
Thank you, Elena, for asking me for this talk.
I'm very happy you accepted my invitation. I'm very excited about this. And yes, I had this urge to ask you to share a little bit about what you do, and we'll talk about that more because I personally had some very beautiful experiences in the space that you created. So yeah, how about we dive right in? And
Yes.
I'll just give a brief introduction and then I'll hand it over to you. But you opened together with your father the first EE system in Belgium, and I believe one of the first in Europe altogether.
Exactly.
So, can you share a little more for those who are listening who have no idea what that means? What is an EE system?
Well, EESystem stands for Energy Enhancement System. It's been invented by Dr. Sandra Rose Michael in the United States. She's been working on this for at least 30 years already.
30.
And now it's since 2 years, it's ready to be all over the world. So they wanted to have it everywhere so it can really help people enhance their energy, but also it's helping you, it's raising the consciousness, and also it's just improving your physical and mental and emotional health. So how it works, it's got these units, we call them. So it's a computer and a screen. We have 24 units, so 6 units in each corner of the room. So that means a 24-unit system. And then this computer generated creates a field with scalar waves. The computers are precisely aligned, so the scalar waves, they hit each other in the middle of the room, creating a vortex energy. And then you have the screens that emit the biophotons. So this is basically your light energy, light therapy. So together it forms a very powerful combination of frequencies and then the scalar waves. So it's really helping you to relax, and the body will start to heal itself again. So the body is designed to heal itself, and that's what's supposed to happen. But because we are so polluted with our food, what's in the air, what's in the water, stress in our daily lives, so that the body cannot function optimal anymore. And this system really helps the body to give it the energy to heal itself again. So that's basically a short introduction of what it does.
Thank you. Very, very compact, good introduction. And so the machine doesn't heal you, but it provides a field in which your cells can actually do what they're meant to do again.
Exactly, yes. The body heals itself. You know, when you have a wound, it repairs itself. It takes a few weeks, but the skin heals itself, and that's what should happen with every problem in your body. As long as you take the cause of the disease out of your life, then the body should be able to recover. And this is a beautiful system that helps the body to give this energy to make the right choices, but also to rest and to have to it supports the healing.
I mean, make the right choices moving forward to try to keep your field as clean as possible, as it's possible in our environment.
Exactly.
I really like the example of the wound when you said that. For me, what came up with, we all know, okay, when you have a cut, let's say you made some food, you cut yourself. If you let the wound dry out, give it air, keep it clean, it'll heal relatively quickly.
Yes.
But if you keep putting dirt into it, you wrap it up so it can't breathe, it's going to take forever and it'll get worse. So
exactly, and that's the same what happens with other stuff in our body. It's beautiful how you say that.
Yeah.
And also, healing takes time. I mean, a wound, let's say it takes sometimes multiple weeks to heal. And that's what we should expect as well from other stuff. I mean, sometimes it's taken years for somebody to get sick, and you cannot expect to be better in 2 hours or 2 days. I mean, it's a process, and we need to take time to go through this process as well.
Very true, very
Yeah.
true. Humans tend to be impatient.
Yes.
But yeah. So what made you decide to open up the center, and how long has it been open now?
We've opened on the 1st of March last year, so we've been open now for a year and 3 months almost. You know, I saw the interview with Jason Shirka from Unified Healing with Dr. Michael. He was sent to do this interview. And I remember a few weeks before that, I was asking myself, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I mean, we just moved back from South Africa to Belgium with the family right before the whole COVID started. So I was basically at home doing some small jobs, self-employed. And I was like, what am I going to do? I want to do something that's what I can do from home. I can combine with, I have 2 children, like I can combine with my duties as being a mother. And also, I want to be something that can really help people and move forward into the new world and new, better things. So I asked myself this: what can I do? Show me something, like whatever. I want to see where I can go. And then I remember I saw this interview. I wasn't following Jason that long, just a few weeks. And then I saw this interview and I was so drawn to it. I knew, like, oh, wow. And I instantly felt like I want to get this technology to Belgium. Like, I want to be the first one to have this technology in Belgium. That was in my mind. So I listened to the interview. I was yeah, excited. And then I showed my dad, because he lives next door and we are very close. And I know we're like-minded. So I know if he's enthusiastic as well, I know we can do something together. And for him it was the same, like, oh, this is cool. He said, like, we can do this. I said, yeah, we can do this. So we started brainstorming, and I think it was within a week we decided, let's order a system. So we sent an email to EESystems that we want to order a 12-unit system, and we had some questions, like, how is this working? What about energy? And and we didn't get an answer. And it took for like maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And then I said to my dad, I think we have to write another email, because I heard they received 70,000 emails after that first interview came out. The response was so big. There was so many people worldwide that wanted to order the system. So I was like, okay, we need to do something, because we are like one of many emails right now. I said, we're going to send another email, and then capital letters in the subject, we are ready to order. Because I knew they got lots of emails with lists and lists of questions and people wanting to try it first. And I said, we're just going to put in the subject, we are ready to order. We got an answer right away, and our order was put in. That's how it went. And from then on, everything just flowed. Yeah. So that was amazing. That's a little bit.
So that was a sign from the universe.
It felt really good. And we had no idea what this would bring, how it would be like. But this is me and my dad. We're very impulsive. Like, when it feels good, we go for it. And we're not like, what should we do, how and when and where? It's like, that will come. Just order and all the rest will come. And that's how it runs.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, first of all, I find it very impressive to have this trust. I mean, I can relate to that, but I mean, this is not like ordering a pair of shoes. I've seen the system. It's quite a logistical endeavor. Plus, obviously,
Mhm.
it involves investments, financial
Mhm.
investments, and to have this trust and to really go with this impulse, this knowing I need to do this without having ever experienced it, but just from listening to the
Exactly.
interview, which I understand because I've seen the interview too. And it made me
Some
really
people said we were crazy. Yeah, I was like, you're crazy. You haven't even tried it. I said,
yeah,
no,
thank you.
I just know.
Yeah, it's sometimes we just know and then we have to go for it.
Mhm.
And like you said,
Yeah,
all the hows and the little nagging questions, they will be taken care of eventually.
exactly.
So I'm very
Yeah.
happy you did that, but I'm also very happy to hear that you mentioned they received 70,000 emails. So that tells me there are many people out there who are willing to explore
Yeah,
this, to help share in whatever way they can, and to make this technology that's available even more available, like make it known even.
absolutely. I think the world is ready now because it's been in development for at least 20, 30 years. I think only now the world is ready to receive this technology, and there's enough people now who are willing to try it and who are open to it, because for some it's still like this hocus pocus thing, like this cannot work, this cannot possibly work. So, but there's enough people now that are feeling what it does and knowing that it's here to help us, and
Yeah.
that we need it desperately, this kind of new technologies.
And I know your dad kind of had to move out of his house for it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, at
That's
first,
dedication.
yeah, because you saw the 24 units already. Yeah.
Yes.
At first, we had a small part of his living room, and then when we upgraded to 24 units in July of just last year, we decided to take the whole living room. Um, he actually built a little like it's like a little wagon in his backyard where he can finally has his living space now. So he put a
Outside
bed
of
in
his
there and a
house.
couch. Yeah. So he's still in his house, but he's also but he enjoys, having the people over and just being a part of all this. And yeah.
Speaking of the people, who are the people who come? Who are your customers, your clients?
Everybody is welcome. I mean, we have children, we have dogs, we have elderly people. Everybody's welcome. But I see mostly people that come in are either retired or a little bit older, like 40, 50 plus maybe, um, because we are only open now during work days and sometimes on a Saturday. But that means that, people that come in are mostly people that are, not working full time. But yeah, we've had people with dogs, with cats. Um, so yeah, I think let's say 80% is female.
80.
I notice it's often the women trying it first and then taking along the men.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But yeah. So I think it's 80% women, yeah.
And do most people just try it once, or are many of your customers, do they continue to come back frequently?
Yeah. We've got a lot of people just trying it once, just because they are very curious, because they are like, we've got a lot of people that are therapists, healers, you name it, people in the fields of working with people. They try to, yeah, they just try it once and want to see what it is. And then sometimes they refer their clients to us, like, oh, you can try this, and this might help you for your next step. But then also there's the quite amount of people that have chronically ill, that are chronically ill. So they mostly buy a package. We have 10, 30, and 50-hour packages, and they come often. So they come. Some come once a week, some come multiple times a week, just because they need lots of hours to heal the diseases they have. Although we cannot say we are healing the disease, of course, but they see that they have good results, they feel better, they have more energy, they have hope again, to feel better.
And that is so important, to keep the hope,
Yeah,
even if you're
yeah,
still in the middle of it, but to have the hope that there is a way
yeah,
out and it will be better.
yeah. And it's very accessible as well. You just come here and you lay in a chair. That's it. You just have to relax. It's not like it doesn't involve any treatment, or you don't. Yeah, there's nothing you have to do. You just have to be and to relax.
And I can
Yeah.
confirm those chairs are very comfortable. It's very easy to relax.
They're from Germany, actually.
Ah, now we know why.
Yeah.
So you mentioned animals are also welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah, it depends a little bit. If it's a small dog and it can just sit still for a few hours, you can just go within the other people, within the room with other people. But if it's like the first time a dog comes in, and it's sometimes they are very energetic and they can't sit still, then we try to book them a private session, or we take them at the end of the day, where just to see how the dog is reacting. But once we see that they can be very quiet, because of course other people want to meditate and rest as well, then we allow the dog with other people. So it depends a little bit. We like to look at it from case to case.
what kind of reaction do you see in animals to the frequencies?
Well, we've got dogs that are I remember one specific dog, a little dog, and he was very anxious. They got him somewhere from the streets in Spain. They found him and they adopted him. But I think he was being they mistreated him, so he was very anxious, frightened very quickly. And they said after 2 hour sessions, he was much more calm, wasn't that scared anymore. So it helps with their anxieties. So yeah, that dog really felt better after the sessions.
That's beautiful. And it's also a
Yeah,
way to help many traumatized animals who've had a not so pleasant past, but to make their present and
definitely.
future
Yeah, it
anxious.
works on animals, so you don't need to have a certain state of mind. I mean, it helps for animals. So yeah.
Beautiful. So now that, I mean, you ordered it without having any personal experience. I assume by now you have
Yes,
you
yeah,
have
yeah, I
some
have.
experience. So what is your personal experience with the frequency?
Well, I didn't have any physical issues. I was, and I'm still very healthy. So it's difficult to see a change, a difference right away. But what I noticed after my first night, in the morning, I felt very emotional, like all these like old emotions coming up. And you know what Dr. Michael says, everything that comes up is ready to be released. So I knew, like, okay, this is like something that was stuck in my body that's finding its way out. So I just rested, and after a day it was gone. And I just felt like, okay, something has been lifted off my chest, like old stuck energy. And I had it the first 2 or 3 nights. I felt the same every time, like this, what is this? And then it releases again. So it's very hard to say like it's this or this, but I feel something moved emotionally. Yeah, what else? I had a little bump on my foot. It's been there for 3, 4 years, like a little. It wasn't painful, but it was just there. And it also disappeared after the first few hours. So that was a small thing. Oh yeah, and then yeah, my skin is softer. This elbow thing that was also always very dry, and also my hands in winter are always dry. And now it's so very soft. And I haven't been drinking more. I was always drinking lots of water and hydrating, but I mean, this is definitely a difference. My skin is a lot softer. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. How often do
Yeah.
you personally use it?
You know, I'm in and out of there like every day. I do something. I'm in sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour. So it's hard to say how often. Um, I try to do one night a month. But you know, I have little children and they're like, oh, mommy, I want to come as well. And then, you know, sometimes they join me, but they don't sleep then before 12 because they are a sleepover party and they're so excited. So that's not optimal. But when they join me, they really love the energy. And once they sleep very well. But it's not like when I want to go there and sleep, I want to, you know, put on a meditation and go to bed early, but it never works out. It's okay.
I have to say, I mean, I came to visit and to try with my mom, and we also spent one night. We had several sessions during the day, and then we also spent
Mhm.
one night. And this night, for me, it was interesting. My experience was very different from my mom's during the night because she also had dealt with a lot more physical issues.
Mhm.
So also for her, this intense energy of the night was what was stirring things up in order to be released. For me, during that night, I just felt in this timeless space. It felt like the longest night of my life, but not in a bad
Really?
kind of way. Like, not like, oh my God, how much longer? Not at all. It was just, there was no time. There was no time.
Wow, that's amazing. But you did sleep or you were you awake during the night?
I'm not even sure. I think I slept in increments, like maybe an hour or two at a time. Then I woke up again, and then I
Yeah,
didn't realize falling back asleep. Um, yeah, completely timeless.
that's good. And did you notice any changes after the night?
For me, like I said, I didn't really have physical issues.
Mhm.
The only little thing I had with my one of my hips, my left hip, sometimes was bothering me a little bit. I haven't had that at all since. That's completely gone. Um, I what else? I had a little pimple when I came in that was gone by the next morning.
That's good.
Minor details, but I think it did a lot also with me because I'm healthy. I have nothing major, but I
Yeah.
do think it rearranged things on a different level. And for me, the connection to something else, like I practice energy work myself. I've been in this field for a couple of years, so these kinds of states and energies, they're not foreign to me, but
Mhm.
not never before have I felt so at peace with everything, so at peace and one. And for me, that was the biggest gift, really. And I can also say that, I mean, I'm physically quite far from the system, but
Yeah.
the frequencies stay. And whenever, and my mom says the same thing, by the way, whenever
Really?
or we, both of us, try to reconnect wherever we are, like putting ourselves back into the room, we're back in the
Mhm.
frequencies.
Wow.
So, and with my
It's like
mom,
the body remembers how it
yes,
feels like to be in this frequency. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So for me, this peaceful feeling, which I like to think I'm a peaceful person to begin with, but still this
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
level. And this is also one of my main reasons why I asked you to share with me here to have this little talk together, because I want to contribute to spread the word and to make more people aware that this technology exists, it's available, it's accessible, it's financially accessible, it's physically accessible. Centers are spreading like everywhere now.
Yes.
And because I believe the peace that I experienced, of course, everybody's experience is different. And depending on your mindset, if you're very skeptical walking in there, you might have a different experience. That's okay, but yet you're in these frequencies. And if anybody will just experience a fraction of the peace that I did while I was in there, the world will be more peaceful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's amazing. I really think that it can help a lot of people. And even if they don't feel it right away, I still think for everybody it does something. I mean, it's um, sometimes it's hard to explain to people who come in for 2 hours and they come out and they say, I didn't feel anything special. But that's okay. Not everybody feels, some people feel the energy flowing and the chakras opening and the energy tickling but most people they just feel at peace and they just sleep and that's perfect. It doesn't mean that after 2 hours you have to have all these miracles. It's still working on your system, and yeah, it's so worth it just to even be in there for a few hours. It's doing something for everybody. That's what I've seen.
Absolutely. And speaking of miracles, have you witnessed any miracles?
We've had a few miracles. Although I try to be careful talking about the miracles because it tends to create an expectation
I
with
understand. Yeah.
people, and then they're like, "Oh, I want to go there," and then like it didn't happen for me. Oh, too bad, you know. But we had a German lady, and she had problems with her neck. It was stuck. She couldn't turn her head anymore, and every time when she would try, she would get so nauseous that she had to vomit. Like it was so bad. She couldn't move anymore. So she came in. She came with her daughter, who actually also opened a center in Germany. But they came to try. That was her second time, I believe, already. So they knew it would help her. It helped her the first time, so they came to my center. And so she went in, she put her intention, and after, I don't know if it was 2 or 4 hours, I think it was 2 hours, she stood up and she moved her head and she was like, in German, I don't know what the German word was, but it's gone, it's gone, I can move. And she stood up and she was totally happy. And so it was gone after 2 hours, and she's been having these problems for days. She had it. She was so desperate, and now she could move again, and she wanted to celebrate at the. She was living in how do you call it in Germany? Like it's like a place for old people, a rest,
Like a
how you
retirement
call it.
home.
Yeah, a retirement home. So she told everybody there like what happened to her, and then some other people wanted to come as well, but they were just hyped up by this miracle, so they had a different experience. But that was a very yeah, that was beautiful to witness. And then I can tell you one other. Also a lady, she had troubles with swallowing. So every time she wanted to drink a glass of water, it took her hours just to get the water in. So that was like a constant struggle for her. I believe she had it for 8 years, always struggling to swallow. She did at night, and the next morning, problem was gone. She could swallow again, and then she told me like, the only thing I still have to um, um, uh, convince is my brain has to be convinced that it's gone because I was still anticipating just that it's going to be hard to drink, but it's working. And so my brain still has to follow what my body has already solved. So that was a beautiful thing as well.
That's interesting I mean,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful example, but also the connection between our body and our mind. The body
Yes,
knows. And
exactly.
sometimes the mind hangs on to, oh, this needs to be painful, this needs to be
Yeah,
difficult. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. It cannot be that it's been solved in one night. Like the brain cannot understand that but it's possible. It's
everything's
because we don't
possible.
believe it's
Yeah.
possible, but it is. Yeah. So
What a
that was beautiful. And
beautiful work you found
yeah,
for
and then
yourself.
exactly, yeah. And then we have lots of people with, I mean, hormone problems that resolve, like hormonal issues, like all kinds of things I've seen. So some after more hours, some after a few hours. So beautiful.
Yeah, everybody reacts differently to it. I mean, I witnessed my mom, we came
Tell
in.
me about your mother's experience.
I mean, her experience was she was paying after the first sessions that we did, or that we had some together, but after her first sessions, I mean, she was in a lot of pain when we walked in there, and it was very difficult for her.
Hmm.
She was pain-free after the first session for the first time in a very long time, and she could
Wow.
pretty much walk out on her own. It didn't last, but it also, like you said, it didn't come overnight.
Yeah.
So, but certainly, and that happened every time, like every time we came, the night, like I said, was a little more difficult for her because a lot was
Yeah.
brought up first, but in the end, yes, she did experience pain-free moments and an improvement in movement. And yeah, it's still, I mean, we're not that close that she can come in every week. That would be wonderful. But it certainly did have a physical positive impact on her. And also, like I said earlier, like just reconnecting with the frequencies if you're not able right now to go in. So, and also apart from the physical, she had a very similar experience with a peace and a connection. And yeah, we had a
I
very
remember. Yeah, I remember after last session, I think she said she saw Jesus in a vision or something. So that was beautiful. And then there were two other ladies in the room as well, and they had the same vision. So they were really connecting after the session. That was beautiful.
yes,
Uh,
one of the miracles from the other side.
Yes. Beautiful.
So
So
yeah.
can you tell me a little bit more about your work? I'm very interested in what exactly do you do?
Yes, where to start in terms like I do several of things, and it's all healing work in one way or another, some more obvious than others. In terms of the frequencies, I do shamanic energy work that I trained in a while ago, and it's similar frequencies yet different, but it's the same thing.
Hmm.
I don't heal anybody. I'm just a channel, and
It's one-on-one, or do you do group sessions or?
actually both. And I do it in person, but also online because frequencies are
Yeah.
frequencies. And I've had interesting experiences too, where I was in Europe and somebody was in the US, for example, and we did a session and we had the exact same experience. We saw the
Wow.
exact same images. So I do know time and space don't matter. So I
Exactly.
do it. I have done it mostly one-on-one in the past, but right now I really feel like it's the time to open that for groups. Um, and so I think I told you also that I found another little mirror frequency device I work with that I can carry with me. It's not like your system that's stationary, that I include in the work. So that's the one side of what I'm doing. And
Yes.
the other side is I run an online language school. So I do believe also in the healing power of language and words. So that's my other mission apart from that.
Wow. That's so cool. And how long have you been doing these healing sessions?
I completed my training 3 years ago, about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny how life also works, right? Because I'm also a writer. And last year I rented a little room for what I thought to just have a little room for myself to write in peace. That's what I thought. No,
No.
nope. I ended up doing nothing but energy work in that room.
Oh, wow.
And it just happened. People just, I don't know, started asking me questions. I was just sitting in my room on my laptop, like, but somehow this came up and I'm like, okay, I think I had to rent this room, but not for writing. So
Okay, they had other plans with you.
yes. So it's interesting how life shows us what's needed
Yeah,
in the moment.
exactly. As long as you see the signs and you're not afraid to react, to act.
Exactly. And for me, it's really about sharing with whatever I do, be it with a language school, people come to learn a language, and they do, obviously. That's the goal of it. But while sharing about a language, you can also share about many other things and about other experiences, and
Mm.
maybe open up, uh, plant some seeds for something else. So
Mhm.
that's really my mission, to spread the things that I experience, that I know are there, that can help us, that can help humans, animals, the planet, all that. We need healing. This planet
There's
needs,
a lot of work.
yes. And the more people get a glimpse of it in whatever way, the better. It's like a ripple.
Yeah,
It starts with a small one and it
exactly. And
goes
it's
up.
funny to see how the right people come to the right place. I mean, they will find you if that's where they need to be.
Absolutely. I see
Yeah.
that with our language students. We have wonderful students, I have to say. And yeah, you do. You
So
find
what
your
languages do you teach?
I personally, we started teaching German. That was the beginning of it, and it has expanded. So it's me and my sister actually who
Okay.
do the German part, and we also have a Spanish teacher who's teaching Spanish for us, and we will soon expand to French and
Oh, wow.
possibly English as well.
Because your English is very good.
Yeah, yeah. I,
Where
I
did
sometimes
you
do that too. I do teach
you
English
could
too.
you
Uh,
could it's very good. Where did you learn English? Because most Germans don't speak very well. I mean, they speak English, but not so good as you.
oh, it's a long story with me. Actually, ever since I can remember, even as a young child, I had this longing for the US. There was no explanation, but it was there. That was my goal. I wanted to live there. I never
Mhm.
felt at home in Germany. I felt very out of place, actually. um, and I did eventually. First, when I was 16, I managed to go on a school exchange. Then later on, I found a way to go to school in the
Mhm.
US. I got my master's there. And
Oh wow, yeah,
I just spent a lot of time in the country, but also the language for me, I'm pretty sure my past life was in the US. So it always felt like I'm not learning the language, I'm
hmm
remembering
Yeah.
the language. And I ended up with an American partner as well. So
Okay,
it's
yeah, okay,
always
that
been
helps.
it's always been German and English in my life,
Yeah, yeah,
always.
that explains. Thank you. Great.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you would want to share with people who might be curious or maybe still a little skeptical?
First of all, I want to tell the news that we're branding the Vitality Bay. So we hired a marketing company, Brand Epic, and they did the whole website again. So the logo has been a little bit adjusted, the colors. The whole website is new. I think it will go online tomorrow, maybe next week.
Oh, cool.
So
Perfect
it's definitely
timing.
worth. Yeah, perfectly. It's definitely worth to have a look at the new website. And then we also have a new package. It's since a few weeks we have this 50-hour package for 1,600 euro. So that means only 32 euro per hour. So it's
Wow.
very accessible for people who need to do want to do a lot or want to do a lot of hours. So that's new. And also we include the detox salt in every session. We didn't discuss that yet, but it's because the system helps you to detox the body. It's important to take a bath after the session. So we give you a package with sea salt and baking soda after each session. It's included, and then you can take a bath at home, and it really helps to get the toxins out of your body. Because that's the first thing the body wants to do when it wants to heal. That's get the bad stuff out, and then
Oh, and it does work. I
yeah,
can say that. We
yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
did foot baths because we didn't have a bathtub
Yeah.
where we stayed, but just doing the foot bath.
Foot bath is also perfect. I mean, if you don't have a bath, I mean, I recommend a full bath if you have one, but if you don't have one, you can do multiple foot baths the next days after the session, and it works perfectly. So yeah, that's always included in our sessions. So maybe it's good if people go and have a look at the new website and
Want to share the website? Where can people find you online?
it's thevitality.com. Maybe you can add it somewhere
I
to the
will add a
video.
link. Yes, I will
They'll
do.
find it. Yeah, and then for the skeptic people, I always say like you don't drag anybody into the system. If they're not interested, if they don't feel it, don't take them. They're not ready, or they it's not for them at the moment. So I don't like when people drag people along, you know. But if you're open and you want to try, just come in and try. I mean, there's no harm in it. You can just relax. And it's always it can only help. It can only help.
I just remembered something you told me when we were in touch before we came for our sessions. I don't remember what it was about exactly, but we had some questions, and you said there's never too much good energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I think you were afraid of having too much yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a healthy environment. It's like the rainforest, like it used to be, without interference of all these 5G and microwaves and you name it. It's just the pure basic nature energy. That's what we need, and we don't have it anymore in the world. I mean, not at many places. So that's basically what you're back to basic settings. That's what
Absolutely.
it is. Yeah.
And yeah, I felt that this being shielded from all the interferences that we have
Yeah.
out there. They are there. I certainly felt that. I can say that.
Hmm.
But also, I know from my own energy work that your soul knows what it needs. And
Hmm.
everything that happens in energy fields like that is always for your highest and best.
Yeah.
And the soul will never agree to anything that's not in its favor. So, yeah, just
I always tell people just do what you feel that's best for you. Don't you, yeah, they can ask me what do you think I should do, but I always ask them like what do you think? Do you if you feel like just doing 2 hours, then just do 2 hours. I mean, you can people have to learn to trust their feeling again. Like we are so used to asking for advice. What should I do? How should I do it? We have to learn to listen again because the body knows, the soul knows.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And be realistic and expect miracles. one of my favorite things.
Yes. Exactly. Because they do happen.
They do. They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into the frequencies again myself when the time is right.
You're most welcome. Or maybe you have another center closer to you in Germany. I don't know. There's quite some in Germany right now.
A lot is happening in Germany, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good that it's more physically accessible for more people. But yeah, the right place at the right time.
Exactly. And each center that opens, they connect with other centers. So it's creating like this field and it's getting stronger and stronger. I think Dr. Michael refers to it as it's acupuncture for the earth. So it's like every center is like a needle.
I love
And they're
that.
forming this grid. I actually had many people, I think at least 5 or 6 people coming to me without talking to each other. And they said, like, I had this vision about these centers creating a grid around the earth. And all these people had the same vision, like this golden grid of energy. It's amazing.
I can see that too. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And if people separate from each other, they tell you exactly the same thing, then there's something. They
And
tap
then
into
if you think a
something.
little further, what I said earlier, that I can reconnect with the energies without being there because we carry the frequencies with us. So
Yeah,
everybody, you have the centers creating this grid, yes, with very strong frequencies, but everybody who's experienced them is like
yeah,
the little mini acupuncture needle.
exactly. That's why we have the medallions as well, because has been embedded with the energy. So it's hypercharged with the scalar energy. So people wear this also to have like maybe it's more than a reminder, but it creates like a little energy field with the scalar energy. So you can always have this protection also against the 5G and the microwave. So this really creates like a small bubble around you,
It's your E
and it
frequency.
reminds you of the system. Yeah.
Oh, very beautiful. You have bracelets too, I think, right?
We also have bracelets. Yeah, I've got a few of them. Have them on my web shop as well. So it's lovely to wear. It feels like very protective and warm, at least for me. Yeah.
I can imagine. Well, thank you so much for being impulsive and following your intuitive spark.
I don't know where it will bring me, but so far so good.
No, and being a part of this, and
Thank
sharing with
you.
people and being brave to just jump in and do it.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking the time for this nice
Thank you.
conversation.
It was a lovely talk, and we should do this another time
Yes,
again.
I would love to. I would love to,
Yes.
absolutely. And in the meantime, I hope you're getting to share with many, many people and animals also.
Yes.
I'm all for the animals.
They are welcome.
I'm still in my head, we're doing a session with all of our family members, human
That's
and not
good.
human.
Come for a night and take your cats.
They're used to traveling. So,
Okay, that's good.
yeah, they are. So that's on my list.
Good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Say hi
Thank
to your
you.
dad, please. My mom says
I
hi to
will.
you, of course.
Okay, yeah. My regards to your mom as well. Give her a big hug.
I will do that. And yeah, let's keep in touch. And
Definitely.
talk
We'll
again.
talk later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having listened to this episode of Frequencies and Friends. Always remember, shine your light and shine it bright. And we will see you next time when we're having more interesting conversations with more interesting people.